Hello, Bionicle fans! The time has come for us to set in motion another pursuit into the dark mythology of the Matoran universe. In the time before time, we have been witness to events that shook the universe itself, such as the great cataclysm that sent Matanui into a deathly slumber. However, for every occurrence, there is an instigator. Today, we will be diving into a syndicate of beings who are held for the most irredeemable of qualities and those who are truly cursed. My name is TheShadowedOne1, and join me as we instigate the top 10 hated Bionicle characters. This list will include G1 characters only, and encompasses heroes, villains, oh, who are we kidding? Any character hated this much has to be a villain. This list will not, however, cover hated sets, only characters, so if you hate the build, they won't appear here. Now, let's get on to the show. At number 10, we have Akmu. A Matoran from Metru with a less than sterling record, Akmu was always looking out for what was most important, himself. Akmu came under service of Nadiki and helped the Dark Hunters to stop the Toa Metru from getting the Great Disc. Eventually, he was put into slumber in a Matoran sphere and lost, where Teridax found him and manipulated him to do his bidding. Akmu went to Matanui and corrupted Koliballs with Makuta's influence. He was blacklisted by the Turaga and all Matoran. Akmu would come to serve Teridax during his reign as the fake Turaga Metru, but even after his master's death, no one forgave Akmu. At number 9, we have Metis, an Agori of the Ice Tribe who just so happens to be a Viper who would make Rudaka proud. Ironic, eh? Metis was an ambitious businessman who looked to preserve his own well-being. He came to work for the Skrull and provided them intel on the other tribes and their weaknesses. He also acted as an intermediary between the Bone Hunters and the Skrull and convinced them to join forces to conquer the planet. Metis planned to take over both factions when Tuma fell and succeeded for a time until Matanui stopped him. Metis was transformed into a snake by the Inika, now as ugly on the outside as the inside. Even though it was reversed, Metis was forever cast out in Spherus Magna for his actions. At number 8, we have the Element Lord of Earth. Who? Well, most don't know about this Element Lord because of what she did. The Element Lord of Earth is one of the 7 species of the Goltorian species chosen by the Great Beings to be intertwined with their element. Because of their connection to the planet, she and her tribe knew of energized protodermis before it arrived on the surface of Spherus Magna and allowed it to be discovered. The Element Lord of Earth influenced the other lords to declare war on each other for the substance, which would result in the Core War and then the Shattering. It became known later that the Earth Tribe was responsible for the war, and they were ostracized. In the end, the Element Lord of Earth is pretty much responsible for a lot that's happened in Bionicle. At number 7, we have Karzahni, the ancient ruler of the realm named after him and the brother of Artaka. Karzahni was tasked by the Great Beings to repair bad workers sent to him, but his ability was not up to par and he completely rebuilt the Matoran into weaker forms. Over time, people started noticing their friends not returning, so Matoran stopped coming to his realm. Karzahni's rage turned his domain into a land of the dead, where he stripped Matoran of what made them individuals. Karzahni eventually became a legend of terror that frightened all who spoke his name. "Go to Karzahni," they used to say. Karzahni became hated for all time, until his untimely death at the hands of one of his own creations. At number 6, we have Teridax, the traitorous Baraki and former member of the League of Six Kingdoms. It became a swift tie between who's more hated, Teridax or Prydak. But allow me to explain. Teridax became an informant under Makutavirus to spy on Prydak and the rest of the Baraki. He eventually betrayed his partners just as they were about to launch an attack to take control of the universe when the Brotherhood of Makuta surprised them. Botar would then take them all away to the pit before their execution, but Teridax kept the tablet that would have identified him as a servant of the Makuta. This tablet was found by Mantax and would out Teridax as the traitor, and he was ostracized by the other Baraki for all time, for he was responsible for their fall. At number 5, we have Zaktan, a truly horrific Skakdi and the former leader of the Paraka. Zaktan was found by the Shadowed One as a slave in a protodermis mine and freed him to join the Dark Hunters. Zaktan eventually attempted a coup, and the Shadowed One assaulted him with his disintegration eye beams, but instead of killing him, it transformed Zaktan into millions of prototypes. This mutated state made Zaktan into an even more deadly and horrific being. His very presence filled other Dark Hunters and his fellow Paraka with fear. Zaktan would lead his fellow Skakdi to create the Paraka, and he would use his power to control them, and they hated him for it. The Paraka were constantly infighting, but they were always trying to kill Zaktan. However, one thing never changed. Zaktan never stopped hating the Shadowed One. At number 4, we have Nidiki. The former Toa Mangai of Air and the monstrous insectoid Dark Hunter is a traitor. Simple, dirty, ugly. Nidiki served with Likan during the Toa Dark Hunter War, but grew tired of it, just like he did with everything in life. Nidiki would soon betray his brothers to the Dark Hunters so he could rule Metru Nui. The Shadowed One had no interest in allowing that to happen, but Likan, thanks to Hakan, discovered his treachery and banished Nidiki forever. Nidiki was shunned by both Toa and Dark Hunters alike, except for Lariska, and attempted to leave the Dark Hunters only for the Shadowed One to have Rudaka mutate him into a monster, never to be loved again. Nidiki would forever serve the Dark Hunters until his demise at the shadow hand of the Makuta of Metru Nui. At number 3, we have Rudaka. A duplicitous and cunning vortex and the former viceroy of the Vizorak hordes obviously had to be on this list. Why? Well, that kind of answer is obvious. Everyone hates her! Rudaka hails from Zia, where she lied, tricked, betrayed, and killed to get the attention of the Brotherhood of Makuta. She came to serve under Teridax, and with Sidorak, led the Vizorak hordes. Rudaka would broker deals with the Dark Hunters and the Brotherhood and betray them both to each other. When Rudaka allowed Sidorak to be killed by Kitangu, word spread to Stelt and the rest of the Matoran universe of her treachery. Everyone, the Makuta, the Dark Hunters, the Toa, the Matoran, and even her own kind came to despise her and want her dead. At number 2, we have the Shadowed One, the leader of the Dark Hunters, and the one responsible for so much pain and suffering to his own members and those across the Matoran universe. Everyone hates the Shadowed One, except Centrek, but that's because he wiped his memory creating him. He has lied, deceived, tricked, mutated, and killed in the name of expanding his empire. Almost every Dark Hunter despises him and have tried to kill him, but all have failed. The Shadowed One was responsible for Zaktan's state, the Toa Dark Hunter War, Nidiki's mutation, the Brotherhood Dark Hunter War, the deaths of hundreds of species, especially Toa, and being the last evil standing after Teridax's death. In the end, the Shadowed One is currently forming an army with the Baraki to make him the most hated being on Spherus Magna. However, it pains me to admit, the Shadowed One is not truly the most hated being in the entire universe. At number 1, we have Teridax. Huh? No, that's impossible. He's on the top again? Not again. I must admit facts. Teridax, the Makuta of Metru Nui, is without a doubt the most hated being in the entire universe. To explain his entire history is an eternal punishment on its own, so I'll just cap off why we despise him so. Besides the obvious success of his master plan that spanned thousands of years and numerous setbacks, Teridax still won and overthrew the Great Spirit and seized control of the Matoran universe. He was responsible for ordering the Archives massacre to stop the Matoran Civil War, resulting in hundreds of Matorans' deaths. Teridax betrayed Myriad, took over the Brotherhood, and ordered the deaths of all Makuta who sided with their former leader, ordering the invasion of the island of Artaka and stealing the Mask of Light, imprisoning Turagaduma and the Matoran of Metru Nui so he could erase their memories and claim himself as their rescuer, killing Nidiki and Kreka and starting a war with the Dark Hunters, as well as nearly killing the Shadowed One. He also harassed the Matoran of Mata Nui for thousands of years while awaiting the arrival of the Toa Mata, and later on, allowing the Makuta of Kardanui to die in the energy storms, before killing all other surviving Makuta after he seized total power. Destiny finally intervened, and if not for Mata Nui, who engaged him in a duel for the fate of Spherus Magna, which ultimately ended his reign, Teridax could have conquered the stars themselves, thus truly making him the most hated Bionicle character. And that concludes Top 10 Hated Bionicle Characters. Tell me what you thought of my list, or tell me who you would pick as your compilation of Bionicle's most scummy beings. And understand, I'm sorry if this list isn't the worst of the worst sets, but these lists are all about character. Comment, like, subscribe, and share. It helps me out and pushes me to make more great content for you all. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.